A sim racer's journey begins by being exposed to either motorsport on TV, YouTube, or by finding and watching YouTubers that play racing games, whom of which can range from sim racers including esports-worthy Jimmy Broadbent and ASMR professional Chris Hay, as well as the more arcade racers of Team Ed Marduk and Super GT. This of course isn't the only way to get into sim racing, but it's the way that I got into it, so we're just gonna roll with it. Now once the future sim racer finishes binge watching the entire Jimmy Broadbent YouTube channel, they're gonna look up sim racing wheel on Google to be met with a link to Fanatec that advertises their $1,500 wheelbases right off the bat. They of course are going to shit their pants, but several YouTube videos later, they're cleaned up and already ordering a Logitech G29. Now, after ordering the wheel, they're gonna realize they left out the most important part of putting together a sim racing setup, which is, of course, the sim itself. And if you're like me at the beginning of the journey, I had no idea which sim to start with. There's a bunch of options out there, and we're gonna go over a couple of them right now, okay? Ready? Assetto Corsa is content heaven with a plethora of mods. Project Cars 2 is kind of EX but has some gems. iRacing has a gross pricing model but with good multiplayer. Let's kick W at the tire model though. And R Factor 2 looks like it was made in 2007 and not 2013, but the physics are so good you're not going to care. Multiplayer is literally dead though. I think we can all agree there is one clear winner here, and that is not getting into sim racing at all to save money on the extreme amount of DLCs you're going to inevitably buy. Definitely go with Assetto Corsa though. Now, once the wheel and pedals arrive and they have their sim of choice downloaded, it's time for the sim racer to drive on in. Sorry. Well, right off the bat, they're going to think that every car drives like the automotive equivalent of a baby projectile vomiting across the room, but once they get the hang of that car and try it out online, they're quick to realize that everyone else is a much worse driver than they are, which leads beautifully into my next point in a sim racer's journey, and that is the realization that nothing is ever their fault. With the ever-increasing amount of open lobbies that a sim racer is going to join, incidences and accidents are always going to naturally follow. Luckily, your average sim racer doesn't have to worry about the fear of death in the event of a crash. However, your average sim racer is morally obligated to flame their crash partner in the in-game chat because, again, it's never their own fault. If you can't tell, this is kind of the #1 rule of sim racing. About this time in a sim racer's journey is where everyone starts to go on different paths. After spending more and more time practicing and racing in public lobbies, maybe even a league or two, the sim racer might start to think he can get involved in esports and compete in bigger and bigger championships. And while he may stomp the competition in open lobbies, he doesn't take into account most people in those open lobbies drive like the human equivalent of Pastor Maldonado. In a different direction, the sim racer might also start attempting to produce sim racing content. This includes YouTube videos, Twitch streams. And yeah, while the sim racer might not be the best in the world, he likes producing content because it gives a sense of fulfillment and furthers his enjoyment with sim racing. Not because he also requires validation for what he's doing, no matter how mediocre it is. Wait, regardless of the different paths a sim racer might go down, one thing is always constant and always the most important. Yes, more important than the #1 rule. You are always constantly upgrading your rig, not for more enjoyment, but to take better pictures to post on the sim racing subreddit.